After a full day of classes, Jacob was too tired to head to Susan's office for cultivation. He decided to take a nap in his dorm before heading out to Sophie's house, where his family was invited for dinner. His mom and Grandma were already there when Jacob arrived. Helen was cooking in the kitchen with Grandma's help. Although Mila didn't really know how to cook, she still tried to help. The three of them seemed to be having a good time. Sophie kept running between the kitchen and the living room to check what was on the menu. She wanted to join them out of curiosity, but the kitchen was too small to fit all four of them. Drakon was fairly relaxed today. He sat comfortably on the couch, watching TV, and during breaks, he would get up and help set the table for dinner. When he saw Jacob come in, Drakon waved him over. Sophie also saw Jacob when she got out of the kitchen, and she immediately smiled at him. "Jacob is here?" Helen asked as she walked out of the kitchen, wiping the sweat from her forehead. "Sorry to cause you so much trouble," Jacob said. No, it's okay. It's nice to have everyone here, and I missed having Louise's company, too. I was thrilled when you called about the dinner." She wiped her hands on her apron and said cheerfully. It looked like she finally finished the design she had been working on, and Drakon must have successfully invited the elder he was talking about. That was probably the reason why they both seemed relaxed today. "Anything I can help with?" Jacob asked. "No, your mom and Grandma were enough help." Helen smiled and said, "Sit for a bit, and dinner will be ready soon. Soph got good grades this time, all thanks to you." "It's her own hard work," Jacob said politely. Helen smiled at him and went back into the kitchen. "Did you go through my drawer at school?" Sophie asked Jacob after they both settled down on two corners of the couch. "Why would you think that?" Jacob asked back, acting as if nothing had happened. "Because I know when somebody touches my stuff," Sophie answered back. She didn't really care about Jacob going through her stuff. She just hoped that he hadn't read her personal diary that she had accidentally left at school that day. Before Jacob could answer, Drakon spoke up. "The commercial is ending. Shut up, both of you." Grandma and Mila walked out of the kitchen at that moment. Grandma smiled gently when she saw Sophie and Jacob staring at each other with Drakon sitting in the middle. "The dinner will be ready in a minute," she said. Suddenly, there was a sound of thunder outside the house. "How come it's raining now?" Grandma looked outside and said gloomily, "Mom, the tropical pressure has been moving towards the east lately, and the warm, moist air is rising. That's why it's sunny during the day and more likely to rain in the evening. However, the rain won't last long." Mila explained scientifically, trying to provide some sort of comfort as she put a plate on the dining table. "I don't understand all that. It's a traditional saying that the rain falls when the dragon raises its head," Grandma said, and went back to the kitchen. Mila shook her head with a smile and followed her into the kitchen. All of a sudden, Drakon turned to Jacob and said, "Jacob, come with me and take a look." "Take a look at what?" Jacob was confused. "Elder Harold is in charge of the rain today. I'll bring you up to take a look," Drakon said calmly. "Really?" Jacob looked at him, surprised. Ignoring Jacob's reaction, Drakon stood up and went upstairs. Jacob followed hastily after a few seconds of pondering. Drakon took Jacob to the balcony on the second floor. With a swing of the hand, a white light sphere enveloped the two of them. It was dark outside, and the clouds covered the entire sky. Waves of fierce wind were crazily blowing away everything in sight, and it was clear that a storm was on its way. Drakon clutched onto Jacob's arm and said, "Stand still." The light sphere turned into a ray of white light and quickly shot into the sky. If there were anyone near them, they would have thought that it was a reflection of light off of a piece of glass. Jacob felt like he had gone through a few layers of clouds, and his eyes were busy checking them out. Then he looked down. He yelled in surprise, seeing that they were actually very high in the air. However, Drakon didn't intend to stop at all. He held on to Jacob tightly as they ascended further and further. Jacob felt that he was in a fighter jet. Soon, Jacob could see the entire city under him. All the skyscrapers were as tiny as a speck of dust. Drakon slowed down after they went through a layer of thick cloud, and the light sphere that had been protecting them slowly disappeared. "Use your spirit concentration scroll," Drakon said in a serious voice. Jacob immediately used the nature essence in his body according to the spirit concentration scroll obediently. At the same time, freezing cold slammed Jacob's body as the light sphere vanished. Jacob was barely able to resist the cold with the nature essence stored inside his body, and he finally stood still beside Drakon. He lightly shook his dizzy head and realized that they were standing on top of a colorful board made from lights, and there was an old man in a green robe in front of them. "Herald welcomes the Dragon King and the Prince Consort." The old man slightly bowed to Drakon and Jacob. His eyes were bright, and his face was calm. One could tell that he was an outspoken person. "Elder Herald," Drakon acknowledged with a nod and said, "Nothing special. I just wanted to show Jacob around. You can get back to work." Elder Herald nodded and closed his eyes again to concentrate. Rays of flash climbed through the clouds like snakes and made loud crashing noises whenever they ran into each other. The loud crashing noises were deafening to Jacob. He was too astonished by the view of the tremendous water waves in the sky. Then, millions of huge drops smashed down towards the city. The water drops broke into smaller droplets over time and turned into dense raindrops. Elder Herald, who was conducting the rain, waved his left hand, which was in a cloud of green energy, and the millions of raindrops tilted towards the east. Jacob could imagine what kind of storm this would be when the raindrops reached the ground. He was simply awestruck. Jacob came to grips with himself and asked Drakon, under the sound of the thunder, "What level is Elder Herald on?" "Not very high. He is only on the 4th level," Drakon answered calmly. The 4th level was indeed not that high. Even Liam was on the 7th level. Even a 4-leveled master could cause such astonishing effects. What would it be like for an 8th-level master? He wondered. Drakon didn't pay attention to Jacob's facial expression. He continued, "Several elders are in charge of generating rainfall in turn. They have to be at least on the 3rd level to do so. Soph's level was not stable, yet she insisted on trying last time, and that caused the whole incident." Jacob nodded and thought to himself, "I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Sophie's mistake." Elder Herald looked very impressive while directing the rain. His power was enough to empty a giant lake. "When will I get as powerful as him?" Jacob thought, as he used the spirit concentration scroll to maintain his warmth. "It's time to eat. Let's get back down." Drakon created another light sphere with ease and dashed down with Jacob. The descending speed was even faster than the ascending speed. Jacob felt like he was falling straight down from the sky. Suddenly, he realized that no extreme sport could be exciting to him after this. Jacob shivered at the thought of this. With a powerful father-in-law like him, and a group of strong elders who care so much about Sophie, I am really going to be a prince. Drakon and Jacob smoothly landed on the balcony, unlike what Jacob was expecting. Jacob looked down to check his outfit and found himself completely dry. They went downstairs to the dining room, and Helen was just putting all the plates in order. "It's dinner time, and you are still wandering around." Helen glimpsed at Drakon and said, with a look of dissatisfaction, "Sorry, Jacob was interested in an antique statue in my office, so I showed it to him." Drakon sat down as he said to Mila and Grandma, as if nothing out of the ordinary had happened a few moments ago.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.